Who are you? What is your purpose in this world? Why are you here? How well do you know about yourself? Have you ever asked of those questions? Well, it's easy to say, it's easy to be asked of those questions, but the question is, have you found answers to those? Well, this video might help you in answering those. Welcome to another video of Understanding the Self, and in this video, we will be explaining the nature and concept and meaning of self, as well as we will be discussing the different representations and conceptualizations of the self from various disciplinal perspectives. These are philosophical, biblical, and psychological. First of all, why do we need to know about ourselves? Una sa tanan, kung kabalo ka, kung kinsa ka, o unsa imong gusto, pwede na nimo gamiton na instrument or maset nimo ang imong kagalingon kung unsa imong gusto sa imong future. For example, just like me, tung bata pa ko, kabalo ko na ganahan ko na ang mga tao is maka-learn gikan sa ako. Ganahan ko na magtudlo-tudlo. So, kadto pa lang daan na time, nakaset na ko na basin ini kadako na ko, gusto na ko mahimong teacher. So as it says, understanding oneself is an integral process one needs to undergo to set direction for current and future actions and behaviors. So just like my example earlier, it has set my direction and my future plans or future goals. And kung kabalo na ka, unsay answer sa question na who am I or kinsa ka, it will lead you to your meaning of life. So, kung kabalo ka, kung unsay answer, kung kinsa ka, dili lang kay literal na kinsa ka. Ako si Jean. So, that's not what it meant when you say, who are you in this understanding the self subject. So, if you have answered that questions, then you will know what is your purpose in this world. What's the meaning of your life? Why are you here? So, you must find answer to that question. So we have here key terms about understanding the self, and the first key term is self-concept. So what is self-concept? Self and then concept. It is the image that we have for ourselves. Question: mag-change ba ang self-concept over time? The answer is yes. Well, self-concept changes over time. Naay mga factors na makaapekto nganong mag-change ang imong self-concept or your image about yourself. For example, dati is moingon jud ka sa imong kaugalingon na I am a happy person. Happy jud ko na pagkatao. But there comes a time na naay mga sad events na nahitabo, may it be for example in your family, na namatyan ba mo or na ay tragic event na nahitabo. So, there comes a time na maskin happy ka na person, maging sad jud ka. So, not all of the time, self-concept is steady. Kanang changing jud ang self-concept. It will change over time, especially pag mag-mature na ka na pagkatao. So, as you grow older, self-concept changes also. So, in addition, self-concept is generally thought of as our individual perceptions of our behavior, abilities, and unique characteristics. Unsa may pasabot ana? Pag may tag self-concept, kung unsa jud ang atoang kalahian sa uban, kung unsay tan-aw nato sa atoang kagalingon, mo na siya self-concept. Example, ako, I can see myself as a person na kaya nako makigsabay sa ubang tao. Kaya nako maging sensitive sa ilang feelings or thoughts. Kaya pud nako nang ako lang isa. So, that's how I see myself. So, that's my self-concept. It is my perceptions of my behavior and my own ability and characteristics. So, in shorter term, it is a mental picture of who you are as a person. So, mental picture of who you are as a person. So, you will be thinking about your own abilities. So, i-picture out nimo kung unsa jud ka. So, that is self-concept. I-describe nimo kung unsa jud ang imong personality. That is self-concept. That's how you see yourself. According to Crisp and Turner, we have individual self, relational self, and collective self. So, what does it mean when we say individual self? It consists of attributes and personality traits that differentiate us from other individuals. Individual self. For example, unsay mong tan-aw sa imong kaugalingon, extrovert ba ka na pagkatao or introvert ba ka na pagkatao? When we say extrovert, you like going out with a group of people. For example, sa classroom, you like to study with a lot of people or ganahan ka ng mga groupings, group activities, mas maka-learn kag best kung naay group study. While when we say introvert, gusto ni mo na ikaw lang isa. You like doing things alone. You learn best when you study alone. So that's how you see yourself individually. You think of yourself that is different from others. So you differentiate yourself from others. Unsa man ka? Ikaw lang ba isa or gusto mo daghan mo? So that's individual self. So what is your self concept about your individual self? Introvert or extrovert, or in the middle of the two. Now, we also have the relational self. From the word itself, relation or relationship, it is defined by our relationships with the significant others. So, significant others, itong mga importante na mga tao sa atong kinabuhi. How is our attitude? How is our characteristic when we interact or when we deal with a relationship with our siblings, with our family members, with our best friends or close friends, and our spouses? So, what is your attitude towards them? That is relational self. Then lastly, naatay ginatawag na collective self. Unsa man ning collective self? It reflects our membership in social groups. So, daghan na siya ng mga tao. Social groups. Collective gani, group of people na siya. So, how do we react when we are in a group? For example, sa school, di ba na may mga organizations? How do we interact with them? How is our attribute? How is our personality goes when we are in a certain group of people? Are we shy or do we really interact to those people around the organization or that certain group? So those are the types of self, or those three will help you better build a self-concept. So, kabalo man ka mo identify unsa ang imuhang personality, unsa imuhang attribute individually or in a relation and in collectively. So, mao to siya makatabang sa imuha, mas maka-build pa ka og picture kung unsa imuhang self-concept. With the aim of defining oneself, we will be acquainted with the different representations and conceptualizations of the self from various disciplinal perspectives. So, these disciplinal perspectives will help us better understand the nature and concept of oneself. So, ano ba ito na mga various perspectives? We have here philosophical, Christian or biblical, and the psychological views of self. So, we will discuss that one by one. Okay, let's start with the philosophical view of oneself. As defined, philosophy is the pursuit of wisdom. So, philosophy as a subject offers us many answers to questions, including a topic about oneself or about self. So, naay mga philosophers na makatabang o explain, makatabang o pahibalo sa tuwa, ug unsa jud ang meaning sa self. So, we have different philosophers here, starting off with Socrates. Okay, Socrates, idol na ko ni siya, guys. Nindot kayo ang iyang explanation about oneself. Ana siya na ang unexamined life daw is not worth living. So, if you haven't examined your life yet, so dili pa daw ka worth or wala pa naka-experience og worth living. Now, dapat ma-examine ni imong life because knowing yourself is considered as the meaning of life. Ana si Socrates. Ana po si Socrates na what you own in your social status, unsa man ka karon sa imong kinabuhi. Dato ba ka, pobre, daghan ba ka og iPhone or cherry mobile lang ba imong cellphone? It's not who you are. Dili na siya maka-define kung unsa ka na pagkatao. What will define you is your soul. Dato lagi ka pero pobre ka sa gugma. So it is not who you are. That will not identify who you are as a person. Our true self will be our soul. Diba? Nice kay bantog idol na ko ni siya, guys, kay nindot kayo ihang explanation about sa self. It's our soul in which our true self. Okay, that's all for Socrates. Next, we do have Plato or Plato. Depende kung saan niyo pagka-pronounce. Basta tama ang spelling. P-L-A-T-O, Plato or Plato. So, siya na philosopher, he said that man should think like a philosopher, rational and wise and seeking knowledge. So that is ideal self, the perfect self. Namang gud ni philosophy si Plato, guys, na ana siya na ang tao daw before we were exiled, ang term dyan niya kay exile, gi-exile dato diri sa earth, we were all-knowing, omniscient ta sa una, katunaa pa ta sa paradise of truth and knowledge. Now, we were born in this world, as we were born in this world, nawala na to sa atua ang tanang knowledge and wisdom na gikan sa paradise of truth and knowledge. Kay na-exile naman ta diri sa earth or diri sa world na pakatao naman ta. But as we do good things, as we seek knowledge, as we seek wisdom, kadto na mga things na naon nato dito sa paradise of truth and knowledge, mabalik to siya sa atua. So it will lead us into perfection. So Plato, guys, motuon na siya og perfect person. Basta kabalo lang daw ta mo seek og knowledge, mo buhat lang daw ta og good things, we will have the knowledge that we had before, back when we were in the paradise of knowledge and truth. So, mao na ang philosophy ni Plato. Next, we do have Immanuel Kant. So, ang gusto lang jud i-emphasize ni Immanuel Kant is to respect ourselves. Respect for oneself is a must because we are the own means to our ends. So may pasabot ana, kung naatay mga actions na dili ka nais-nais, ang ending ana is dili pud ka nais-nais. We have to respect for ourselves. Simple example lang kanang ginaingon nila na pag magsuot ka og sexy kaayo, halos mulugwa na imong kaluluwa, and then maskin wala ka sa beach ing ana good. So what do you expect others to say to you? Ginachismis na daay kanila because you yourself, you do not have respect to yourself. Kabalo ka na wala ka sa beach nga no ingana man imo ang suoton. So dili ka dapat mag-ingana. You have to respect yourself if you want others respect you. Also, Immanuel Kant would like us to treat ourselves equal or having equal moral status as well as the others. So, if I want you to respect me, dapat i-respect po ta mo kay parehas lamang tatanan, tao aning kalibutan na. So, maskin lahi taog kanang age gap or economic status o kinabuhi, we have to regard ourselves as having equal moral status. So, maulan jud na ang gusto i-point out ni Immanuel Kant. Next is John Locke. John Locke po, ang ihapong gusto i-insist or i-emphasize ang personal identity. He does not believe that personal identity is found or can be found in our soul or body. Ang iyahapod na gusto i-emphasize ang ato ang personal identity comes in our consciousness or memory. Kana na adra sa memory, it is composed of your experiences and sensations. So, for example, maka-define ka or maka-identify ka sa imong personality based sa imong nakit-an o na-experience. For example, ako, I can see myself, na-sense na ko sensation. I can see myself as having a brown skin, or I am a brown-skinned person. So that's my personal identity. I have been experiencing different kinds of pain. So I am pain tolerant person. So mo na akong personal identity according to John Locke. So dili tinuod para sa iyaha, dili tinuod ang soul or body na diraa daw gikan ang atong personality. So atong personality daw or personal identity is naara sa atuang memory or naara sa atuang consciousness. Additional for John Locke, napod ni siya term na gi-coined, that is tabula rasa. Kaning tabula rasa, guys, ang explanation ani is ang tao daw gianak na empty mind. So imong mind is empty, walay sulod, empty jud kaayo. Now if fill out na siya sa mga experiences as you traverse or as you go with your life, dili ka parehas atong kang Plato kaganihan na gi-explain ako na ang tao daw before sila gipanganak sa kalibutan is naa sila sa paradise of knowledge and truth. So kaning kang John Locke wala, empty mind yun, tabula rasa. So masudlan lang na imuhang memory, masudlan lang na imong consciousness as you go with your life, as you experiences moments, happiness, sadness. So, ano sila ang mag-shape sa imuhang personal identity. So, that is the philosophy of John Locke. Para sa ako, mag-agree ko dito sa part na ingon siya na experience will shape your personal identity. Tama man pud na makaano gid sa ato ang atong experiences, it will build us into a strong person. Kung perminti ka masakitan, maka-learn na ka na the next time kay ako na po'y manakit, char. Dili, kabalo na ka mo adjust kung sakit gali ang sitwasyon, kabalo na ka sa imong buhaton, and basin the next moment kay mas stronger person na ka. Okay, that's all for John Locke. Now we have René Descartes. So, ang famous line po ni René Descartes about the self is cogito ergo sum, or in English, I think, therefore I am. René Descartes said na mind and body are two separate entities. Lahi ang mind ug ang body, maskin isa lang ta, makita ay, or we know na isa lang na sila, pero ana sa René Descartes na there are two different entities. Unya, para sa iya hapod class, powerful kaayo ang mind because awag ito yung giingon, I think, therefore I am. It's your mindset, it's your thinking that will define who you are, that will set direction on what you are. And your thinking or your mindset will help you develop yourself. For example, magsige ka huna-huna na nakulbaan ka. Kulbaa jud uy. Unsay feeling nimo, unsay may tabo? Di ba makulbaan jud ka, basig mag-stutter jud ka. So negative pud ang ending because you think, therefore you are. Murara na ka ng horror, naguna-una ka na, tama to na, ay, tinuod tong horror movie na mo nakitaan. So, naguna-una ka na ay wakwak sa ilalom, or na ay multo sa ilalom sa imuhang katre. So, unsay ma-feel ni mo, di mahadlok yun ka kay nagahuna-huna, mauman na ang imuhang mindset. That is your thinking. So, that's how powerful your thinking ability is according to René Descartes. So if you would like, or if you will develop that one, then you will be also developing yourself too. So you think, therefore you are. Lastly, we have the philosopher David Hume. So according to David Hume, or he is the proponent of bundle theory. So according to him, the self is the bundle theory of mind. Hume is doubtful that there is a simple and unified impression about ourself. Ana siya na dili sa tanang panahon, you can be one, or you can have one impression about yourself because self is composed of perceptions that have causation. So, para sa itong example na ko earlier na you cannot say that you are really a happy person because sometimes you can be sad. There are moments wherein you need to be sad. You need to be angry. You need to be frustrated. So, moingon dahil ta na kung happy ko na pagkatao, so nagapasabot day na kung makitaan ka na mo na sad, dili to ikaw. So, you cannot say that. Because man has no clear and intelligible idea of the self. So, mao na ginaingon ni David Hume. There is no single impression of the self that exists. Rather, the self is just the thing to which all perceptions of a man is ascribed. So, it is composed of perception. So, dili ta matingala na ginaingon nato sa tong kaugalingon na ako kay strong jud ko na pagkatao. Strong jud ko pero nganong sometimes maka-feel man ko na weak kaayo ko na ay nagapa-weak sa ako. So dili ka matingala og ingana ka. So ayop ka bala ka kay normal lang gihapon ka. It's okay lang na siya because we have a philosopher na maka-back up sa ato ang feeling and that is David Hume. So that's it for David Hume. Ana siya na the self is the bundle theory of mind. Okay? So that's all for the philosophical view of self. I have just chosen several philosophers. Actually, there are a lot of philosophers, but I have just chosen a few. So we had Socrates, Plato, Immanuel Kant, René Descartes, John Locke, and David Hume to explain the nature and concept of the self. So I hope you have understood and somehow inculcated in your heart and in your mind what they have philosophized. Now, for your participation, I want you to choose one philosopher that you think best or have best philosophy about the self and explain why did you choose that philosopher. Explain it in just 1 or 2 sentences. Comment down your answers and I will record that one as your participation. I will see or I'm gonna look for your answers below.